Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, out in Facebook land as well as YouTube land. Welcome to another edition, actually episode 11 of That's My Story. So we want you to come on in, get yourselves comfortable. We got Ray Parker Jr. on tonight. If this is your first time on, give us a like or a heart, whatever you can do. Drop us a comment and let us know where you're chiming in from. Much across the United States as well as the UK and the rest of the world. I go by the name of Jerry Midas Hardison. Joining me are my fellow co-hosts, the illustrious Miss Shelley Clark White from the Honeycomb, also the wife of legendary bass player for the Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mr. Verdine White. We also have Mr. Brandon Stevens from chairman of the board, and also Mr. Ken Knox from the chairman of the board. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
How y'all?
I'm excited. I'm excited about tonight's show.
All them records behind Shelly. All those plaques.
A lot of records. That's a lot of platinum back there.
You know, okay, Honeycomb, just to get the record straight, Honeycomb had Go Records before Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now.
All right.
Again, just to reiterate, if you're over here at YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe to the official chairman of the board page. So as we drop new content weekly, you can be the cool kid and be the first to be notified amongst your friends. How's everything looking on you guys in? The video working properly and all of that? Okay, very good. Very good. All right. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please help me welcome musician, singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor. We all been waiting for this gentleman all week. Help me welcome Mr. Ray Parker Jr. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And so much more. Hey, Ray, what's going on, buddy? You doing all right today?
Going pretty good.
Man.
What's going on, Ray?
We're doing well. Good to have you.
Absolutely.
It's good to be here. Half of me's in Detroit, half of me's in LA, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
And speaking of Detroit, we got a fellow Detroit guy here, Mr. Ken Knox.
There you go.
Yeah, Ken.
He's got his hat on. I got my shirt on here.
Yeah. We matching.
Right.
So Ray, you were born and raised in Detroit. So what was it like growing up, in the Motor City for you?
But for me, I didn't play no sports because that was like off limits. All we did was practice music, since age 6. And Ollie Brown lived upstairs. Nathan Watts lived down the street. Linwood lived around the block. So our whole neighborhood was just music, and more music.
And you're right. I was talking to a cousin of mine who's a musician, and we spoke on every block had at least 3 or 4 musicians.
Exactly. And there were lots of places to play in the 60s and 70s. I mean, they had all the nightclubs, 20 Grand and Driftwood, 876. All that stuff, Latin Quarter, all that stuff was a lot of fun.
Did you graduate from Northwestern?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that. I went to Cass Tech for a year. Then they told me if I wanted to see the 11th grade, I'll leave there. So then I ended up at Northwestern. But when I graduated, it was pretty sad. My parents they were a little depressed with me. I had a 1.4 average or something.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't think I was stupid. I was just in the studio recording with chairman of the board and the Honeycomb. Come on.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think we have a graduation.
Oh my gosh. I thought I burned all those pictures.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice, man.
Yeah, well, at least you graduated.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. I went to college for a little bit, first year.
Where'd you go?
Lawrence Institute of Technology.
Lawrence Institute, yeah, man. Every musician I knew tried to get up in there.
Yeah.
So I went to the rival school. I went to Western.
Okay, yeah.
And so the thing is, I remember, you remember Roland Christian, right?
Absolutely, very well.
Yes. Roland brought me over to your house, man. What street was that?
Virginia Park.
Virginia Park.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Virginia Park, was that an incident during the Detroit riots?
Yeah, that was on Virginia Park. The Algiers Motel you're thinking about. That was on Virginia Park in Woodward. And then shortly after that, I mean, the police beat me up on the way to Cass Tech at the bus stop.
Oh my God!
In the alley, and I thought that was it.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible that you you know, it's a shame you had to go through that, but that was that life. You know, when the riots hit, there was tanks going to the street. Remember all that?
I know tanks. I tell people that tanks and everything was going. You know.
Yeah, tanks.
And that was just that time. That wasn't the only time. But that was just that time.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So you've been through that type of experience on more than one occasion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Did that change you any, or you know, how did
I think so. Made me look at things a little safer. You know, I wouldn't stop my car for anybody until I get to a major intersection with some people there. You just learn, you know.
Yeah, it's real serious.
Learn class too.
Well, Ray, you were part of the house band at the 20 Grand, led by Bohannon. The Bohannon band at 20 Grand. So now the Spinners saw you when you were 20 years old. I mean, not 20 years old, at the 20 Grand. I'm sorry. And they liked the way that you played the guitar. And you actually went on the road with the Spinners, opened up for the Rolling Stones. And then at the age of 16, you co-wrote your first songs with Marvin Gaye, and some of that material I really enjoy personally. The Bohannon stuff with Marvin Gaye, the double clutch.
Yeah, double clutch
stuff. Yeah, that's some cool stuff right there. So talk a little bit about that, being part of the Bohannon band.
Well, first of all, I met the Spinners before. Marvin stuff at. By that time, it was Golden World B. And let me tell you, man, it was wonderful. Bob Olson was the engineer. And Marvin would just write the songs and create it right in the studio while we were all sitting there. So we'd come up with parts, which is why we all got writers on the song. We'd all join in together and just make it happen. And we did that every day for about a month, even on Saturdays and Sundays.
Wow.
I made so much money, my mother and them thought I was selling drugs. So they walk, follow me around to see what kind of stuff I was getting into.
I'm proud to be able to say that I knew you at 16 years old when you were featured guitarist on Hot Wax label, doing all that stuff over there.
Yeah.
Seasoned guitar player. I mean, you were playing with seasoned guitar players at 16, so that was a phenomenon. Just talk a little bit about that, and then
that time I was the young guy coming in, but we had Robert White who was there sometimes. Eddie Willis was there more than normal. Quite, he was one of the regulars, and every now and then we had Dennis Coffey there. So I got to play on a lot of Chairman of the Board records, even Patches, Honeycomb, One Ass, Laura Lee, Frida Payne. So it was a lot of good bands there. McKinley Jackson and the Politicians.
It was known that you had this very unique signature sound and the style of playing where everybody wanted you. But I'm glad you were at Hot Wax and helped us get a bunch of gold records.
I'm going to the
Yeah, man.
It's a heck of a song. I mean, the lyric is ridiculous.
I'm glad.
It's really ridiculous.
I'm glad they changed those lyrics. I think the first ones was wanted. Gonna put it in one as I got some love for sale.
Oh no, not for sale. No.
Yeah, we can't roll with that one.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And actually, the guitar part is very dominant.
Yeah.
Very dominant in that track. Yeah.
When it does that percussive stuff, that's McKinley Jackson.
Oh, okay.
He's all his songs. He had those, little breaks and those little rhythm stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
As you may or may not know, we had McKinley on the show a week or two ago, and he couldn't talk enough about you. And so complimentary, everything. I wanted to know, where did you meet him, and did he bring you to Hot Wax?
Well, believe it or not, Sylvester Rivers actually opened the door for me because he was already playing the piano there, and we went to school together. And I kid you not, for about 2 months, I stayed home every time y'all had a session, just in case the guitar player would get sick. I said, he's got to get sick sooner or later. If not, we're going to shoot him. But he's got to go. So there was one day, I guess Sylvester brought my name up a few times, and the guitar player didn't show up. And they said, somebody said, hey, call that guy Sylvester knows that he's been asking for. And then Tony Newton says, call that guy Sylvester said, something like that I hear. And that's the day I came in. And I forgot what song we're playing on. But after that, McKinley Jackson called me back to do some overdubs. And it was on a tune called Everything Good is Bad and Everything Bad is Good. And we laid out so many guitars on there. I said, I think he likes me or else I'd be out of here already.
Right.
Yeah. Good then.
Well, before I get into my next question, I got a question preceding my next question. How did you get into playing guitar, Ray?
Well, I was playing clarinet and saxophone for a long time, like 6 years old to 10 or 11 years old. And I just got tired of blowing. I just it wasn't my thing, this blowing thing. And I didn't have any ideas on the saxophone or the clarinet. When the music stopped, I stopped. And then my brother got one of those cheap guitars for Christmas, little nylon string guitars. And man, I heard more than one note at a time. I heard chords. Oh, that was it. I found that was my destiny.
So you self-taught.
Yeah, I picked it up and just practiced every day, all days, till I got really, really good at it.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome, man. Okay, so which leads me into my next segment. So you toured and collaborated with Stevie Wonder and Barry White. Give us a little bit of what that experience was like.
Stevie Wonder, that's the turning point of everything right there. Because he taught me how to really write songs, put the instruments down on tape, how to go in the studio, how to work the console, how to work a 4-channel tape recorder with sync heads and all that kind of stuff. And I was also noticing how he was doing his records, where he was writing all the songs and producing and doing everything. I was like, if I want to make money like Stevie Wonder, I know I got to do all of those things.
Do everything, right.
Not that I thought I was ever going to be Stevie Wonder, but if I could do 5% of Stevie Wonder, I'd be good. I mean,
yes,
life would be good,
Yes,
so he was the one that taught me all that. Then I got to LA, and Barry White, and man, was this a nice guy, you know, because I was at the beginning of my songwriting career, just a few songs, and he didn't need my song, but he was kind enough to really listen to it, and he liked the music, and so he put a couple of those on his records, and he sold millions of records. You know?
Awesome. And we have a picture of you and Stevie Wonder, and so Stevie was running the console and everything. You know what the rumor is, right?
What? I ain't heard this one. Uh-oh.
I'm gonna leave that alone. No, I'm just saying Stevie running the console. You know, it's a rumor circulating. You know that people say he can see. So I'm just messing with you. I'll just messing.
Had him behind the wheel of a car with me in the passenger seat. I know he can't see.
That's just internet rumors. I just threw that out there for entertainment purposes.
A couple of girls he chose too.
True indeed. All right, I digress.
I guess after you got tired of writing and playing on other people's records, you decided to do your own thing, start your own group.
Well, I sort of want to do my own thing a long time ago, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I was noodling at it the whole time. I would actually go in the studio and rent this stuff. I told those guys not to call me here.
Who you gonna call?
But
they calling you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was always, even at HDH, I rent studio time from Bonnie Perkins and go in and try and record something, even as early as like 16, 17 years old. I just didn't have a clue as to what I was doing. I had to learn from everybody else. Then I thought, I kept writing songs, they kept getting better. They all sound the same to me, but I guess they were getting better. I didn't know they were getting better. They were getting better. And all of a sudden things took off.
So you formed Radio then?
Yeah, then I formed Radio shortly after that, after I started writing some songs for other people. And then, boy, that was a good idea. Then I actually learned how to sing myself. And the first song I sang all the way through was Woman Needs Love, and that was on the 4th Radio album.
I remember when Arnell Carmichael, right?
Yeah, Arnell, Jerry Knight, who's passed, Fatback, Larry Talbot. He's my next door neighbor.
Yeah, man, Mr. Guy. Yeah,
that's my next door neighbor, Larry Talbot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. I understand that on the Midnight Special, Jack and Jill was shown on that first release. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. I think we were on a Midnight Special a few times.
We were all watching. But yeah, so from there, you said a woman's need love like you do. I mean, your catalog is pretty hefty.
Yeah, that's like 6 or 7 gold and platinum albums in there,
Nice.
Which has been it's been all over signed by Ghostbuster. Be like, well, where did he come from? Does he do anything? Like, yeah, he's been around the block a few times.
Wait a minute. Then you did a name change. You changed to Ray Parker Jr. and Radio. Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, Clive Davis did that. People kept leaving the band and you get new members of the band. So first it was Radio, then 2 guys quit. Then he said, well, I better put Ray's name out. Then it was Ray Parker Jr. Radio. Then some more guys quit. It was switching around. He said, screw that. I'm going with Ray Parker Jr. And he wanted to do that from day one. It was me who wanted to have a band.
I mean, that's natural.
Yeah.
Your boys and stuff like that. I get it.
Yeah.
But business is business.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a photo of that.
Business is business. Yeah.
And so A Woman Needs Love went to number 4. I think we talked about it already. Yeah. And number 1 on R&B charts for 2 weeks. And you were the first Black artist to venture into music videos.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah,
I always put a video on us. I remember Jack and Jill. When I first heard about a video, I didn't even know what it was. What do you mean you're gonna film us while we're doing it? You give her like a lot of thought. Then after that, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. We had a video every year. I can hear Valerie Jones clear as a bell on there.
Oh man! Wow. So Jones Girls doing it was on just Valerie from the Jones Girls.
Just Valerie. Yeah, I can hear her voice clear as a bell on there. Yeah.
We got Shirley coming on in August.
Yeah, Valerie's on most of my records. So
okay,
I miss her dearly.
Yeah, it's part of the secret sauce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You also produced a song by the iconic R&B group called Mr. Telephone Man by
right?
A
lot of people don't know that, but Telephone Man was written first, and I didn't like it, so I kept the groove and stuff and changed and put the lyrics to A Woman Needs Love. Then that here, and then later the New Edition heard. Mr. Telephone Man, they were like, can you cut it like the old track? We don't want you to make it new. cut it like the old track. I said, well, that track is like 7-8 years old. You know, so I went back to the old lyrics I had was Mr. Telephone Man, put them on it. And after that, I'm like, man, I should have sang that song. What was I thinking about? I don't know what the heck.
Yeah, that's
that away for, you know. But they had a big hit with this. You know, now it's like probably my second best copyright of all time.
Wow.
They hear that song everywhere.
It's got a very distinct sound.
Yeah.
So, when I, a woman needs love. Yeah, I heard that groove. I was like, yeah, that's
the same groove.
That's cool.
I want to take it back for a minute also. Did you have a song out called You Can't Change That?
Oh, yeah. Now, that one I got lucky with because I actually wrote that song because Billy Henderson of the Spinners asked me to write them a song. So I thought about, well, I always like that Rubber Band Man bass kind of thing, on Rubber Band Man. And I said, I like the melody of some of their other songs, games people play and that sort of thing. And I thought, well, I'm going to make it like that, all that kind of stuff was in it. But I want the Rubber Band Man, don't on the bottom. And I came up with Can't Change That. And I thought for sure this is a shoe-in. Played it for Billy. He says, we don't know if that sounds quite like a Suspended. I said, don't sound like it. I said, don't sound like it. I cut it myself, and like a year or so later, he came over to me and says, boy, we should have cut that song, huh?
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up with that one.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Great.
Oh, you played bass on that song too, Rick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the technique.
Yeah. That's me in the video, but on that song, I actually played the drums, the bass, the piano, the whole thing. Yeah,
that's all right, man.
That's all.
Jack Dash for playing that tambourine thing, we're giving it that hip hop feel on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know we mentioned the group Radio, spelled R-A-Y, right?
Yeah.
D-I. I think we have a photo
Yes.
of that group.
No way I put my name in it. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's very clever. Like radio. Very clever.
Yeah.
Now, look how skinny I am in that picture. You know what I'm saying? And all that black hair. Look at that rich, thick black hair. Come on.
Yeah. Good old days.
Okay, well, moving forward, because I know we're trying to get everything in. Your career goes on and on. We want to talk a little bit about a solo career you launched. That was like around 1981.
Yeah, 81 is when I got another woman. Yeah, the solo career. Right. I didn't know I was having a solo career, but it just happened. People kept quitting and that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to cut something different. After Woman Needs Love, I'd been the good kid. So then I kind of wanted to write a bad song. So that was the other one. And that was sort of a true story. Actually, Shelly, that's about your buddy Sandy.
Uh-oh. Tea is being spilled.
Yeah, that's my story exclusive.
Let's put a face to the gossip. Right? Put a name and a face to the gossip. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of her in that song.
Okay.
That's scared to spill the tea.
You heard it right here, folks.
I must have had too much glass of wine before this interview. I don't know. Can I take that back?
Hey, It's all right, man. It's all right. You get it off your chest,
There you go. Yeah, let it breathe.
Hey, Ray, as a songwriter, is it true that the best songs come from real life experiences?
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be your own, though. You ain't got to live it.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
If your best friend lived it, he's crying over it, you can write about it,
The other woman, that was a very, I want to say, unique video also. You chose like a Halloween theme when you did that. Where did you get that idea from?
There was a director who came up with that, and they sent us to England to film it. So we're actually really in that castle and all that. And then what was interesting is they wouldn't show that in America right off because they were scared. The director didn't get a mixed group of girls, so they were like all white girls, and that was a problem at the time. So we actually shot a second video, and in that video is a friend of mine in Apollonia. That's the first time you get to see her on screen. She's in the video as well.
Oh, okay.
So we got two videos, the other one.
Wow. Apollonia?
Yeah.
The Apollonia.
Wow.
Yeah, but she wasn't the Apollonia then,
Yeah, for sure.
I want to just mention you had 6 top 40 hits in that era.
The list of accomplishments is just man, you need to see the paper a mile long. But I just want to say, on a personal note, I'm really fascinated by your ability to mix rock and funk and R&B with just a really easily digestible pop feel. That's something that's very rare for I mean in popular music in general, to be able to mix different genres like that and make them, you know, sing together really well and not have anything that sounds like it's forced. It's just like a natural touch that you got. So
well, just know I had no idea what the heck I was doing. That's
the best way.
So before you make me into this genius that I'm not, I was just having a good time.
Okay. Hey, well, hey, you had a good time, and I guess the most important thing is that as you were trying to figure things out, you were just being honest with the music that you were writing. So we're gonna take it back to my childhood days, or Midas's childhood days. 1984, the movie, the blockbuster, Ghostbusters, which you wrote and produced the infamous theme song, which went #1 on for 3 weeks on Billboard, and 2 weeks it was #1 on the R&B charts. And it was also the first movie-themed song to get a lot of airplay on MTV. And as we all know, you know, in the early days of MTV, you know, they didn't play Black artists at all. So you were nominated for a Academy Award for Best Original Song, and you got a Grammy for Ghostbusters for the Best Pop Instrumental Performance. So talk a little bit about how the song and that opportunity came about.
Well, there was a guy named Gary LaMelle who just passed, who's Shelly's friend Sandy, we were talking about earlier, used to work for. It's all part of the same thing. So link it all together.
It's all tied in
I was
together.
waiting on the gossip to happen. I feel you hanging on the edge of this again. So anyway, I was going out with her, and she was working for him as a temp thing. But me and him knew each other from the Barry White days, because he was Barry White's publisher over at Aaron Schroeder. So he had stuff to do there. So he thought I would be the perfect guy to write the song for this film. Maybe he saw that other woman video, you know, the spooky one. Maybe he saw a little bit of that. But he came to me and says, "You're the perfect guy to do this. You got to do this for him." You know, so he hired me to do it. They only had a few days left because the Ghostbuster film was done and scheduled to be released, and they still didn't have a song with the words Ghostbusters in it. You know,
Wow.
So I remember at the time they were so desperate they paid me $50,000 just to write the song. Not even have to record it, just write the song and play it. You know, a little bit of it. And it wasn't going to be a record. It was only 20 or 30 seconds of it over the library scene.
Okay.
So that's what it was supposed to be. And the hard part, where the money didn't get so easy, you got to put the word Ghostbusters in the music, you know, which was almost impossible. I mean, you never know how the song goes, so it's not fair. But if you were singing it, I'm a Ghostbuster, I mean, it's terrible. No matter how you sing, right? You know? So the best idea come up with to not sing it at all, you know, let somebody else sing it that ain't on the record, and that way it's separate from the record. And then I just sing the part, just who you gonna call, because I remember a segment of the film, they had the phone number underneath the 4 guys.
Oh man, okay.
I said, well, this is the idea. You don't do it, you call the Ghostbusters, and then the Ghostbusters resolve your problem for you. So it's really who you gonna call, you know, question and response thing. And the director liked that so much, he said, make that song longer, you know. So but took off from there. Is that very interesting?
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty cool.
I never thought about that part. The chant part.
So Ray, was that Charles Green on sax?
Yeah, Charles Green, exactly. It's only one sax, and it's Charles Green. The other part is the guitar part, one synthesizer, one saxophone. Sounds like a horn section, but it's just one saxophone and one synthesizer, playing one note too.
I say, Ray, you say you don't want us to make you out as a genius, but I have to say those are quite genius ideas right there. And also just, you know, the way that you solved the problem of getting around singing Ghostbusters by having people chant the word. I mean, that's what a big part of what made the song so memorable.
Pulls you in.
So yeah, great idea. So now you in that video and the stars of that movie, all those guys, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Rick Moranis, those guys were like 80s comedy icons in the movie. So
Saturday Night Live crowd.
Well, I guess that rubbed off on you a little bit. And did that actually spawn you into kicking off your acting career?
Yeah, a little bit. Then I cut my own movie. Then I did a bunch of other things, some sitcoms, you know, some serial stuff. But you know what? I just the acting thing for me is a little difficult. Like they make you go to wardrobe at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. Then nobody come to your trailer till noon. It's like, like I'm used to my music time. We get on it and hit it.
Yeah, right away.
Everything was dragged out, and I never forget. There's one scene I did. I was ready always to do the love scene. I mean, every guy at home dreams about it. But when you do the love scene, you think you already picked out the girl who you think you're doing the love scene, but it don't go like that.
Nah.
It don't go like that, you know. And so I had me with this girl, and she was cute enough. That wasn't the problem, but I could see her backstage. She's putting lipstick all over her face. I mean, just you know. And then she gave me a kiss, and the lipstick was on my nose, my thing.
Oh my gosh!
Remember, they done made my makeup for an hour, so they said, "Okay, you're gonna take another fix right up, and that's gonna take a half an hour to put the makeup back on, take the facial stuff off, read back on smooth." And it's just, you know, it was less performance and acting than it was waiting and accommodating, you know, and getting ready. Yeah, I'd rather just plug my guitar and let's get this on.
Get to it, right?
Get to it. Get to it. So the acting thing, I think I could have done more, but it just didn't hit me the right way. You know?
Yeah, and you were on one of my sister's favorite childhood shows, which actually got me interested into this particular show. Give Me a Break.
Oh yeah, I remember Give Me a Break with Nell Carter. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
And see, that was fun.
And we actually
we sang the Donna Summer song together, and that was my car in the show, by the way.
Oh really? Okay.
The turbo Porsche. That was my car. They let me drive my own car. Yeah.
Oh wow,
that's all right. And then we have a picture with you and one of the co-stars, Miss Thelma Hopkins. I think she played Addie on the show.
She's from Detroit too, y'all.
Oh, she's from Detroit.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Her and what's the other girl? They did a lot of background work.
Yeah, they're both of them with Tony, Orlando, and Dawn.
You were also on. I got my list here, so I don't make a mistake. Pryor's Place, right?
Oh yeah, Pryor's Place. I wrote the theme song, so I'm in the video with Richard Pryor. We had a good time. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah, awesome. A lot of things here. We got the Disorderlies, which I saw as a kid.
Yeah,
with the Fat Boys. I like classic.
Bro, I used to watch that movie. I used to roll over. Man, that's hilarious. Man.
Yeah, we also got Enemy Territory in 1987.
Star of that film, and everybody in that film turned out to be famous. I mean, Tony Todd is in it. What's the girl?
Stacey Dash.
Yeah, Stacey Dash is in it. I mean, it's a whole bunch of people was in that film.
Yeah, and Gary Frank.
Was that in the 90s? When was that?
That was in New York, in the projects in New York. Yeah.
Just to finish out the list of some of your acting credits, we got Terms of Enrollment, Behringers.
Yeah.
Then also Uptown Saturday Night in 1974.
That's the sleeper, by the way, because that was my first job coming to LA. I got to hang out with Bill Cosby. And a lot of people look at that, and they look at it now, years later, and go, that looks like Ray Parker Jr. standing there.
Yeah.
And I'm like 18, 19 years old. They were holding the red guitar that my dad bought me, you know. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, not only was Bill Cosby in it, we got Harry Belafonte was in there.
That's right, yeah.
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Flip Wilson, as well as Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
And, you know, I'm hanging with the crowd, the right crowd.
I mean, that's all legends right there.
Anything you want to say about that experience?
Oh, that experience was wonderful, by the way. Calvin Lockhart knocks me off the band stage, but he was the ladies' man, the famous actor at the time, so I guess he's entitled to do that. He can't do that now. You know, I got something for him. You know? I remember, you know, I had worked with Bill Cosby in Detroit, and Bill Cosby used to come to 20 Grand Here's, so I wanted to reconnect with Bill Cosby, but I'm at the shoot. It was so many people between me and him, it was never going to happen. So I remember that he liked Cuban cigars. So the next day I went to downtown LA, bought some illegal Cuban cigars for over $100 a box at the time, which was a lot of money back then. And all I did was go back to the film set and hold up the cigars over my head like this. You know, finally, he's looking around. Finally, he looked over my way, and all I had one cigar, and I'm holding up the box. And he looked like that. Next thing I know, he went, "Hey, come on over here."
Yeah.
Sat me down, he took the cigar, ran it under his nose. Meet me at the Lighthouse. So he had me come sit in with his band and, you know, come jam. So that's how I actually hooked back up with Bill Cosby, is buying him some illegal Cohiba Cuban cigars.
And put up the smoke signal.
That's right. Put up the smoke signal. That's
yes,
right.
sir. And you also had 21 Jump Street as part of your acting credits, which I used to watch all the time as a youth as well. I think it came on Sunday nights, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, in my area growing up, I used to be on there. Holly Robinson and I can't think.
Johnny
Robinson, Johnny Depp, and I forget the rest of the guys. But yeah, that used to be my show.
Yeah, we filmed that in Canada.
Okay, wow.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's another fun fact. So that wraps up my segment on the acting.
Even though you're a musician, a writer, producer, I've got to read this list of artists that you've worked with: Aretha Franklin, Supreme, Stevie, of course, Denise Williams, Bill Withers, Temptations, Boz Scaggs, David Foster, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Honeycomb, Herbie Hancock, Tina Turner, Diana Ross, LaToya Jackson.
Crazy list.
And New Edition. But my favorite song that you produced and wrote with Taka was "You Got the Love."
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, every musician that I knew was trying to capture that lick. You know what I'm saying? That the field was doing.
That song started with that lick, by the way.
Yeah. I remember.
Really?
It was the number one. It was number one. And on R&B charts, number 11 on the pop chart. But
I came up with that lick first. Then I just came up with the part. I was trying to do something like Barry White would do it. So I got the bass part and the fuzz on the bass to go together. Different kind of song. I've never had a song like that since. I mean, that's in its own world, that song.
It is, man. I mean, incredible song, man. Just the rhythm of that thing.
I'm going to do a 360 and veer away from music for just a minute because I wanted to ask you, if you remember, you and Verdine were both at a Grammy Board of Governors meeting in Santa Monica. And he came home so psyched that day because as he was leaving, he saw this crazy state-of-the-art car that I think only you had at the time. You know it's true. And maybe Lionel Richie later on, but I think you had the very first one. When was that a Tesla? Yeah, I think it was a Tesla. He said you drove him down Real Boulevard, and it didn't have what, an engine? You were controlling it by an iPad. What was this about?
Yeah, you could back in and out with your iPhone. But I'll never forget, at that time, I was so excited about the car because it's the fastest car in the world. So I put him in the front seat, and we had somebody else in the back seat. And I scared those guys to death. They saw
I bet.
So I was telling them about that car. By the way, I don't know who did or didn't, but right then, I bought a lot of that stock in that company, Tesla.
Oh, wow.
And I told my friends to do it. I don't know if they did or not, but that stock has been doing really, really well.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
How fast do they go?
Not the car, no matter how fast the car was, it's faster than the airport Ferrari, but the stock went faster.
well, no, I'm saying, but did you see what's like miles per hour? You said it's what, like the fastest car around?
I know what you meant. You can do 0 to 60 in like at that time 2.6 or 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
Now it's even faster. It's down to under 2 seconds now. It's a rock.
I'm sorry. Aren't you a pilot as well?
Yeah. I used to fly myself everywhere. I haven't flown in a few years just because my kids started playing tennis and sports and basketball and football, and the plane was just sitting at the airport doing nothing. But I used to live in Mammoth Lake, so I used to fly back and forth like once, twice a week. Yeah, I fly to Detroit City Airport or land at the other airport. It's cool. Yeah.
Back to music. In 2014, you received the coveted star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That was phenomenal. Congratulations. And I think we have a photo of that.
Yes.
There you go. Now you're talking. That's by the way, out of any award ever, that's my favorite award because when I was a kid, all I did was walk up and down Hollywood Boulevard just dreaming. How do you get your name? How do you get a star? And the word, back in Detroit, you hear, I want to be a star. Well, that means a Hollywood star. They invented a star. So in order to be a star, you got to be a star, I thought. So that was a huge dream for me, and I never thought I'd be able to get a star on Hollywood Boulevard. That, even now I just get in my car, and if I'm in that area, I got to drive by and get out of my car and stand there for 2 minutes, then get back.
Hey, why not? You earned it.
I get it.
That party, how about that party? We were cool with the party, weren't we?
Oh,
George sang on Broadway and played. I mean, it was crazy, Denise sang. It was a lot of people.
Oh, wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
We also have a photo. You, I think you were a presenter at the annual HMMA Awards, and we have a red carpet, right? I think Berdine was a presenter, also you too, right?
Yeah. Look at it.
Hey, a little self-indulgent, but
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, me and Berdine, we go way back too. I mean, I remember the first Earth, Wind, and Fire concert that I saw. They had this song called "Love Is Alive," and he was opening for Stevie Wonder at Pine Knob. That's what we hooked up at. And Berdine was one of the first guys to record one of my songs on his group Pocket, so that was a big one for me.
Oh, Pocket, yeah. What a great group.
Yeah, that was one of my first releases ever, so that was a real important release for me. I didn't have anything out.
We know that. Well, we want to talk a little bit about your new upcoming documentary. I guess it's soon to be released, and whatever projects go along with that.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's called "Who You Gonna Call." I think that's the appropriate name. That makes it easy for everybody to remember.
Yeah,
it's a story about my life. There's the guy, Fran Strine. He directed this movie, Hired Gun, which really went off and did pretty well. So he said, the next film I want to do is a film on you, because he heard sort of my life story as we were traveling around. And I think he did a wonderful job. I can't wait for you to see the whole film. You know, you've seen it, but I want everybody to see the film so you can see it's got a little bit of everything in it, you know. And it's turned out well. And the music in there is original music from a new album that I'm creating too. And all of this album, ain't no hip hop on here. It's just 1980s music, early 80s music. It's real instruments, real drum sets, real people singing. So it's just very simple like that. It would have already been out now, but because of this virus thing, everybody's locked up and nobody knows what they're doing. They moved the Ghostbuster film, the original, you know, Ghostbusters 4, whatever you want to call it. It's coming out next March. So I want my film to come out with the Ghostbusters film, because when we go do press, we should get all that press. And we're going to tie the record to that as well. So we had a record, the Ghostbusters film, and my film. So it should be a big year, 2021, unless they mess that up too with another.
Oh Lord.
Any inside information you can give on the new Ghostbusters movie?
No, I don't know anything about it yet. They haven't even called me and wrote me a check yet. I was about to get one. I heard the director told me he's got the music in there. But then once they hold the film back, you know, they hold my money back.
They ain't back.
Oh,
yeah.
They ain't getting that at a time either.
Yeah.
Money's important.
Oh, great. You touched on that in the documentary about, you know, a lot of people, you know, knowing you for the Ghostbusters. Do you find that, I guess, a challenge or a blessing that, I mean, you're known for something that big, but you also want, you know, people to recognize, you know, the rest of your career, which you had before that and after that?
I see it as a blessing, because first, it makes everybody happy. Anybody who says who you gonna call, they usually have a smile on their face. And most of the people that say it are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and it's just unbelievably, they got such a happy look on their face that I can't believe that here it is 35 years later, and the 6 to 7 year old kids, they all know what this song is. You know,
that's right.
So it's my favorite song only because it's not the money. It makes everybody happy and puts a smile on everybody's face. And so to me, that's the biggest blessing in the world. And I would never want to return it. It's like getting the winning lotto ticket. I don't want to return that either.
Right.
How many countries did that song go #1 in?
Yeah, #1 and #2 in 52 countries around the world.
How many countries are in the world?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think about half of them at least.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was insane. Well, the last question for me is that we have a photo of your beautiful, lovely family, and so I wanted you to name off your wife and your kids.
Oh, sure. Okay, let's start on the far left, facing us. That's Jericho. He's the baby. He's now 20 years old and 6'6.5". Next to him is his oldest brother. That's Little Ray. He's 34 and just got married about in November. Then that's my wife standing next to me, holding on to my arm. That's Elaine. I've loved this like crazy, crazy. Love her. If I had a chance, I'd marry her again tomorrow. And we've been together 30 years already. How about that? And that's me in the middle, holding my star. Just elaborate this time. Just happy as I could be right there. Next to me is my second oldest son, Redmond. he's the kind of player to go. He likes too many girls, you know. And then to his right is Gibson, and Gibson is the DJ now. He's playing music, studying in college, and he's now 22. But if you look now, Jericho and Gibson, they're just as tall as Redmond now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Four big
family.
boys. They have a good time. Yeah.
Beautiful family.
How tall are they? How tall?
Like 6'6", 6'7".
Wow.
What?
It's funny because you said they're 20-year-olds. They're 20 now?
Yeah, 20, 22, 32, and 34.
I remember you had gave me a call a few years ago, and you were taking them boys to school.
Yeah, exactly.
So that had to be what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, I was their chauffeur.
Yeah. What you doing? Stop taking my boys to school.
That's right. Yeah.
That's good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful family there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time for our question and answer session from the audience. We do have a question from our Detroit associate, Mr. Drew Schultz. Let me put this up on the screen here.
Okay.
Said, curious, did Ray have a manager or business team at such a young age, or was he pursuing all of these opportunities entirely on his own? He just did so much.
Well, that's interesting because I didn't get a manager until I got with, Cavallo Ruffalo, which did Earth, Wind & Fire and Prince and everybody else too. But I didn't have a manager till I got them. But all of the early stuff I did all by myself. I was just like a go-getter guy. I wake up early in the morning and I have to get mine because if I didn't, I was going to run out of money and have no food to eat. So it was more
right. Got to get it.
This stuff had to happen, yeah. Then after that, I had the managers for a small number of years. Then I got rid of all managers and went back to doing it myself.
Got a cool comment going down memory lane from Miss Linda Lane. Says, I was in 11th grade when A Woman Needs Love came out. I saw the video and every man, in parentheses, boy, had to look like Ray Parker Jr. if they were going to go out with me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where was this beautiful woman at when I was available? I mean, where were you? Back in the I didn't even have a girlfriend there. Come on. We could have done it.
Way back when. Yeah, folks, if you have a question, go ahead and pop it up now. Try to put it on the screen so Ray can answer it before we get on out of here.
Okay.
Wait, Ray, didn't you do that song last weekend with DJ Cassidy?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. We did that song. Yeah.
I watched. Past the mic, that was great. I watched it.
Yeah. That's funny what he did.
We've got a personal question from Chuck Etherson,
Personal.
former keyboard.
Oh, Charles. What up, Charles?
Kid is not my son.
This guy is wild.
Ray, I remember when you first left Detroit for New York to audition for Stevie, and did you come back to Detroit with a canary yellow Lincoln Continental?
Well, you almost got the story right, but I was only in New York when Stevie was staying there, Okay. So then after I quit the band, I moved back to Detroit and bought a gold Lincoln. Then I took the gold Lincoln and drove that to California.
We've got a question from Rhonda Bedekian. How did you meet?
Oh, yeah, we know her, yeah.
Oh, okay.
How did you meet Fran? By the way, Fran Strine is the director of the film of my documentary. And I met him when he was filming the other documentary, Hired Gun. And so a bunch of my friends were in it, and they said, hey, call Ray. He's a studio musician too. So he called me, and that's how I actually met him. It's over my house. They were filming me. And I remember looking at me in that film thinking, man, you look a little sleepy. And I was tired because I had just flew in from Japan, earlier that day. And so they filmed me right as I landed. And that's how I got it. I just made it to get a clip into the film.
Got a comment from our to me and Midas. She's the mother of the group with chairman of the board, Joyce Jacobs. She said we danced every night in Greensboro to Ray Parker Jr.
Daddy-O.
I've been to Greensboro, but they didn't take me to Daddy-O's. Okay, is it still there? Let's go. As soon as the stuff is over, let's go.
Gas the plane up.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right,
folks. While you're on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you guys so much, especially our faithful viewers, week in, week out.
Fran Strine is a great filmmaker. I agree. He did a wonderful job. I think he's a really, really good filmmaker. In fact, we're going to make 10 more documentaries but we just held up by this virus. I can't talk to anybody to do anything now because
right.
Stuck, you know.
Yeah.
So we gotta get back to make a few more.
Absolutely.
Oh, really quick. I don't know, Ken, do you want to now, Ray? As you know, we have covered one of your songs by radio.
Really?
Chairman of the board. We did a version of that song, and
I haven't heard that. Now, come on, y'all holding out.
I got to get it to you. We did a cover of Jack and Jill, and I think that's what Drew was talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of response.
What's up, Drew?
And the way that song came about was the fact that there was a DJ in this market who was suffering from Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And the deal was his son came up with the idea of picking like 10 of his dad's best records.
Right.
He came to me and asked me, they gave me 4 songs. He said, which one you want to do? I said, this one right here. Because we go way back to Detroit. We're going to do Jack and Jill. And thanks for letting us cover the song, man.
Yeah, well, where's the clip? I hope y'all got a clip of that.
You know what? We'll send it to you. We'll get it to you.
You guys are stumbling. We should have that clip right now. What y'all doing?
It's all about you, Ray. We can't, it's all about you.
You would definitely get it, man.
Okay.
And I had to sing all those high parts on that song. Those vocal arrangements, it's way up there.
And Jerry Knight can get way up there with it. That's him hitting those harshness.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We got one more question from Drew Schultz.
All right.
About the business side of things. Ray, did you hook up with a publishing company at a young age, or did you shop your songs personally to these artists, or just knowing them through your guitar playing?
Well, I never had a publishing deal, so I shopped everything personally, and I still do so even today. I've never had an administration of publishing or anything. I've always done it myself and with a girl that helps me.
Well, I guess that's a good way to keep track.
Less is more.
The check's in my house in my name, so I don't have to audit the books of the company and fight with them later. So like that way, I get to make all the decisions. It's been good so far.
Well, not too bad, not too shabby.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for the questions.
Q&A.
Pretty much everything. Yeah.
So Ray, but before we proceed, won't give our viewers at home, where they can find you, your website, social media links, and things like that.
By the way, I started early, so everything is under my name. So if you're on Instagram, you go to Ray Parker Jr. Look for the verification blue thing. So you got the right.
Oh yeah. You don't want to find the fakos, the fugazies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the same thing on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you're on the official Ray Parker Jr. site, so you're getting the real thing. And then I got a website too, but I got to redo my website. I haven't been there in a long time. Ever since all the social media started, your own personal website, it's not a lot of traffic going there no more. So it's driving through other stuff. So I'm trying. My sons, they trying to keep me up with all this stuff. Twitter, TikTok. Every time I click a button, I'm somewhere I've never been before. In another world. So
all right, cool. So let's see. Before we get out of here, as we're coming to a close, we want to let you guys know that next week, and who do we have on Thursday next week, kid?
So next week we have a legendary singer-songwriter, Ron Dante from the Archies. Remember the band?
Yeah, the Archies.
Yeah. So he's going to be on with us, and we want to remind everybody to subscribe and like our channel.
So as usual, you guys got any closing words before we get out of here?
Well, I'd just like to thank y'all very much. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh man, I had a ball. Thank you for coming on with us.
Now I gotta go listen to Jack and Jill by Chairman of the Board.
Yeah, we gotta make sure Ken gets that to you.
So Ray, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yes, indeed.
Man. And
well, to all of our viewers at home on Facebook as well as YouTube in the US and UK and all across the world, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us week after week. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell your friends. God bless you. Good night.